Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Spartan Ultra Training Program, where this week's going to be all about kind of dealing with the nerves and stresses that kind of get at us as we get into like the race day or event day kind of mentality, putting all the pressures that we put on ourselves and kind of worrying about all stuff's going to happen. There are things we can do to mitigate these concerns we may have as we go through, and that's what today is going to be all about. However, it's going to be a little bit different. As is kind of most things we're learning throughout this whole program. Again, we spent the last like 4.5 months at this point kind of slowly getting ourselves built up, slowly getting ourselves kind of more fit as we get into this. And that's one way you can learn. The other way we can kind of learn through things is kind of get those aha moments where just all of a sudden instantly everything kind of changes for you. And although we've been kind of basing our fitness side off of the one, dealing with stress certain things kind of come from that aha moment. If you ever look like the magic eyes kind of growing up, you either see the image in that random pile of stuff or you don't. If you want to start juggling things, you can either juggle or you don't. It's like there are certain things you either do or don't. So kind of dealing with stress is a little bit of one of those. You're going to have your aha moment. And so I'm going to give a story first of where my aha moment came from. And if you want to follow along, that's cool. If not, I'll put a time note in the description where you can kind of forward ahead to when we get to the rest of the discussion. But then from that, there are going to be 4 additional things we can take from that example that I had that then we can apply to race day itself, which may be helpful. But just to kind of give an idea of where I'm coming from in all this, I think it's worth giving this story out here because it'll also kind of help give you an idea of where the term Laurelman actually may have come from when I kind of named this channel, because you've probably seen the artwork stuff I've done in the model side of things on the channel. Have you seen the fitness stuff I'm going through right now? Back in school, I was also kind of a little bit of a science nerd. And back when I was in actually it was kind of middle school, back in 7th grade, my school system decided to join what was called the Science Olympiad stuff. It's been around for decades now at this point. But our school was going to finally go and participate in the Science Olympiad competition, which at the time was you had one competition you would do per year. You'd have a statewide competition. If you were the best school in the state, you would go to nationals. And that first year it was going to be down to Alabama. They already said if we made it to nationals that one year, if we won states, anyone on the team is going to go to like space camp for a day, which, considering all the moon stuff that's happened recently, the Artemis rocket, that's kind of a big deal right now. So believe me, when you're in 7th grade, that's an even bigger deal. So I tried like crazy to make the team, failed. Friends made it, they had a good time, came back, yeah. 8th grade came around, man, I have something to prove this time, I'm going to go for it, failed again. 9th grade came, started doing more kind of track and cross country, started doing more of the physical side of things, but I still was really good in the science classes I did. And so when my sophomore year came up, this is now 4 years after I had started trying to make this, the coach stopped me in the hall and said, well, I have to level with you on this. You're the top earth science student in the school we had last year. We're weak in this department on the team. Everyone who was on our team, they're on the AP track. They skipped earth science. So when they're a senior, they can take AP, biochem, physics, whatever. So we need you on the team. You're here, you're in. So I was like, awesome. 4 years later, I'm now finally make this team I wanted to make way back in 7th grade. So flash forward to the day of the test. So we're at states. Again, it's one and done. If we don't make this, good for you. We can try again next year. So we have one shot to make this work. And most of our teammates were on there for like 2, 3, I think one person on there for like 4 events. I was there for literally 1. So I wasn't there to compete for the team. I was there to win the earth science test that they had going on there. So I remember I got to the classroom. I was the first one there. And I'm like rummaging through all the books. I am stressed like crazy going in. I mean, this is like my one shot in years. And when you're that age, time is just like, it's a very different thing. So I'm like freaking out going in. And all of a sudden, one of the teams, because again, it's 2 people on a team at the time. So one of the other teams comes in. And I'll always remember, one guy looks at the other and goes, oh, is this the earth science test? And the other guy looks and was like, yeah, I think so. I'm like, poof. All the stress I had, everything I had built up into that moment, 100% gone at that point. I'm like, this is my competition? That I had real competition that came in after, but it's like, So ever since, once they did that, my books were gone. I put them away, and I just kind of sat there watching the other teams coming in. I see everyone else is kind of like freaking out. Everyone's like rummaging through stuff like crazy. And as I'm watching all these guys completely stressing out over everything they're doing, they're cramming for it, they're stressed. It just, the more I saw that, the more my own mind went at ease. I started relaxing more. I knew if everyone else is freaking out, there was no reason for me to as well. I knew that I knew the stuff, and it made life easier. And once I relaxed and got into the test, I was able to recollect all the stuff I needed to bring back faster, because again, I'm in a loosened state, I'm not in a tightened state. And it just, yeah, from that moment forward, every test I took, any kind of race thing I did, this worked throughout the rest of high school, this worked throughout college, this has worked for any number of things, is once you get to that site, don't worry about put your stuff away. You've done the work to get to the classroom. You've done the work to get to the starting line. You've done the work to get to the event. At this point now, once you're there, it's time to mentally put that stuff away. You're done. Now it's just time to relax, get focused, and kind of get going. So now again, long story short of that, I did win, and we did go to nationals. So from there on forward, the next 3 years actually did go to nationals for science competitions. So between the sculpture stuff, the fitness stuff, and science stuff, I've had a dabble in like every single kind of discipline there is, which is partly why I have that Laurelman logo I kind of chose that as a name for the channel. There are a number of different things I have dabbled in over the years. So that's where that comes from. But coming back to the 4 things I had going on, if you want to go into these events, once we get into this, is the first is have confidence. Once you get to the starting line, you'll never, again, part of competition in general is you will never feel like you are ready for whatever competition you're up against. This could be like a 100-yard dash. This could be an ultra marathon distance obstacle course race that takes place on ski slopes in the mountains. It doesn't matter. You will always feel like you're unprepared. You don't need to. Just have confidence that the work you've put in before has brought you to this starting line, and you're going to be ready to go. That's all you need. When I did that Irish table and spear throw video, I didn't put the spear throw at the end of a 10-minute long uncut video because I knew I could do like 3, 4, 5, 6 different takes to get it right. I put that in because I knew I was going to get that right on the first attempt, and it thankfully did work on the first attempt. That was awesome. But yeah, you just need to have confidence when you go and do these things. You've done the work. You can do this. Whether or not you think you can, once you get onto that starting, once you get to that site, you can absolutely do this. Put the inhibitions aside. They don't matter. Second thing on the list is, I had this in order, what I was going to do. Crap. This is what happens when I don't write things down on the side. But second thing you have on there is have a generalized game plan of what you want to have going on. Now, again, on the academic side of things, I couldn't really give myself a game plan because you don't know what the test is going to be until you get there. You're not the ones writing the test. So on here, the idea is you want to have at least a general game plan, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself with things to think about. You want to keep your mind kind of relaxed and loose as you go in. So we're going to go into this more next week when I get into the map reading kind of video that goes out, kind of like the pre-whatever thing. But generally speaking, I'm going to be looking at where there are going to be probably 5 major climbs on this whole day. So I'm generally going to be looking at kind of where they are. And even the first one is right off the starting line. So you're already done with one of the climbs, like the first 1.5 miles on the course, however long that's going to take to go up. So I'm going to look at those. And I'm generally going to have like maybe 1 or 2 areas of interest on the course where a couple different obstacles may come together that may prove more stressful for me. If I see like Twister next to Olympus, next to like Tyrolean Traverse, I might keep that one in mind, like the half mile leading up into that like trio of stuff. I might just take things a little easier going into that, because I know that something like that for me is going to raise the heart rate through the roof. So I'm going to keep 1 or 2 of those areas of interest on the course and have an idea of where like the hills are on the course. And that's really all I need to worry about. That's all I'm going to do. It's going to simplify it. We don't need to know the microcosm of everything. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves. Just get the big ticket items in the back of our mind at the starting line. And we really don't need anything else from that. And then from there, it's then focus on what's important at the moment. So this is going to be step 3 now, is now focus on what's important at the moment. So if you're at the starting line of a race, the important part is just getting off the starting line, and that's it. You don't need to worry about anything further out there. Yes, you know the other stuff's coming, but you're not really thinking about the other stuff. All your main goal in like that first quarter mile, half mile is just kind of start getting into a rhythm, getting a routine, just kind of work that adrenaline off. You will have adrenaline going on. It will wear itself off in the end. But the adrenaline will help you get up that first hill, which is awesome. But after that, yeah, just all you really need to focus on is just what's important to you at the moment. As you get to each individual obstacle, you can pause for a moment. If you always see somebody like at the start of Twister just kind of like standing there, not moving on the starting platform, all you're kind of doing is just visualizing how you go through. So once you let go and jump off the platform, you can just execute. So if you see people, like I'll do that a lot, you just kind of take a couple seconds at the start of an obstacle, and you just kind of pause. That's just kind of visualizing a way through. So once we go to execute, we can just do. So as you go through on the small side of things, yeah, just focus on what's important. You can put all the other stuff aside. Again, when we're in that starting corral, starting the race, don't worry about the other obstacles on the course. Don't worry what's going to be hard. Don't worry about the rain. Don't worry about the slop or all that. Just focus on what's important, just getting off the starting line and just getting kind of a pace going. And then once you have that done, that kind of ties into just live in the moment. Part of putting all the inhibitions aside and part of just putting the stresses aside, it's just you live in the moment on these things. You've put the work in. It's okay when you come in, they have that music blasting. You can kind of bop your head a little bit to it if you want. You can look like an idiot doing it. That's fine. We're here to have fun. The idea is to have a good time on these events. And that's part of it. Just live right there in what we're doing. You don't need to think about the other stuff. We're here because we wanted to be here. And that's basically what that comes down to. Is now it doesn't come easy. I don't think it comes natural to kind of view things this way for a lot of people, but that's all it really takes. Is a lot of it is just having the confidence that you have done. You may never feel it, but having confidence you've done things correctly, having a generalized game plan. You're not worrying about the really small micro stuff. Just have a big overall picture of what you want to accomplish. Focus on what's important. Focus on the individual stuff then as you get to them on how to go through, and just live in the moment. Have a good time. When you're going up those hills, if you're like me, I am generally going for time, although if it's going to be a sloppy course, any time goal I'm going for is going to be 100% gone, because that's going to slow down the downhills. It's going to slow down things like bucket carry and stuff like that so we can stay safe. But the idea is, even if I'm doing something for time, we're going up those uphills, it's okay to turn back and just look at the vista. You earned that vista that's back there when you're going up these hills. You can have fun with this stuff. You don't have to just like say the entire day is going to be a slog, going to be a suffer. Have fun where you can have fun during this. It's okay to do that. So yeah, that's really what I have for this one. Like I said, next week's probably won't go out on Sunday. I'm going to see whenever they put the map out for the next week, or for the course that's coming up, I'll probably do a recap of the map at that point. So this could be a Sunday, this could be Monday, it could be Tuesday, it could be whatever day that map goes out. I'll try to keep an eye on that, and either that day or the day after, I'm going to stick the next video out. So keep tuned for that. It will come. And then just, yeah, we're there. We did it. We're up to race time now. It's going to be fun. Get ready for it. Get pumped. Get psyched. It's going to be a good time. And I'll see you next time. Enjoy.